Twists and Truths presents Leah's journey from illusion to authenticity. Leah could make anything beautiful. Logos, websites, posters, entire visual worlds. She could turn a blank screen into something that made people say, wow. Clients loved her work. Her art director praised her creativity. On paper, she was doing just fine. But when Leah turned off her computer at the end of the day and the bright colors faded from the monitor, her own life felt muted. The apartment was quiet. The plants in the corner drooped a little from neglect. Takeout boxes sat near the sink, promising she'd cook tomorrow. She scrolled through her phone, thumb moving faster than her heart could keep up. Photos of people she knew or half knew flashed by. Brunches, vacations, new engagements, gym selfies, flawless skin, wide smiles. They're all doing life better than you, a voice in her head whispered. You're just static. Background. Leah's chest tightened. She set her phone down, then picked it up again a minute later. The silence in the room felt louder than any notification. Her life had become a loop: work, scroll, compare, shrink, repeat. She was good at making brands stand out, but she felt invisible in her own story. The illusion begins. It started small. One night, after another long scroll that left her feeling like she'd lost a competition she hadn't even entered, Leah opened a new app. A fresh account. No followers, no posts, no expectations. For a moment, it was just a blank profile picture staring back at her, empty, like a canvas. What if I could be someone else here? Her fingers moved before her doubts could catch up. Profile picture, not the awkward office photo or the one where she thought her nose looked too big. She chose a selfie taken in good lighting, angle just right, filters softening the places she criticized most. Bio, graphic designer, coffee addict, always on an adventure. She hesitated at that last part. Always on an adventure? Her real days were spent hunched over a desk, not climbing mountains or traveling the world. But the words looked good. The illusion felt safer than the truth. She posted her first image, a picture of a latte with a simple caption, creating and caffeinating coffee sparkles, #work vibes. It was harmless. It was normal. It also wasn't quite her, but the likes started coming in. A few strangers, a coworker, someone from an old college group. Her chest fluttered, a tiny hit of validation. They see you, that inner voice sighed, finally. So she posted again, a candid shot that wasn't candid at all. She had moved the furniture, adjusted the lighting, stood at a flattering angle, and smiled in a way she thought looked effortlessly relaxed. Online, Leah's life began to look brighter, fuller, bolder. Stylish outfits she only wore long enough to take photos in. Cafe trips she took alone, framing them to look like vibrant social scenes. Busy days and creative nights that hid the loneliness waiting after she hit share. Her real life felt like a pencil sketch. Her online persona was the colorized version. The performance. Weeks turned into months. Leah's new self grew. Her followers climbed steadily. People commented, "Your goals. Your life looks amazing. Teach me your confidence." Leah replied with cheerful emojis and self-deprecating jokes. Outwardly, she played the part perfectly funny, confident, always on. But behind the screen, she was exhausted. Every post required strategy. Is this good enough? Do I look okay? Will they like this? Will they like me? If a post didn't perform well, she deleted it. If someone didn't respond the way she hoped, she rewrote herself a little more. The more she pretended, the further she drifted from the person she actually was. Quiet, thoughtful, deeply sensitive, her phone became both mirror and judge. The reflection it gave her wasn't real. But she began to accept it as the only version other people would want to see. At night, when she finally put the device face down on the nightstand, the silence felt heavier. Leah lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking, if they really knew me, the anxious, messy, insecure me, would they still be here? Shame crept in. But so did another fear. What if I stop? What if I disappear again? So the performance continued. Enter Chris. One afternoon, Leah was scrolling through her recommended feed when a video popped up. A man speaking to a small audience in what looked like a community center. Caption, "Your worth isn't a filter, it's your heart." She almost skipped it. Self-help content usually made her feel worse, but something in his tone made her pause. He wasn't shouting, he wasn't selling anything, he wasn't promising instant transformation, he was just honest. His name was Chris, a motivational speaker and coach. His posts weren't flashy, simple graphics, short videos, handwritten notes. But his words hooked into something deep inside her. You can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't hurt. Authenticity doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you show up anyway. If people only love the mask, you're still alone. Leah swallowed hard. She clicked through more of his content, stories of people reclaiming their sense of self, admissions of his own past insecurities, messages about self-worth, not as a slogan, but as a daily, difficult practice. She followed him. She started liking posts, then commenting. At first, she did it as persona Leah, the polished, witty version. Love this. Needed this today. So inspiring. You're amazing, he replied, and not with generic emojis, but with genuine comments. Glad this landed for you, Leah. Thank you for sharing that. Keep going. It felt strange, like being seen through tinted glass. Slowly, she started dropping hints of her real struggle in the comments, watered down but true. Sometimes it's hard to feel like I'm enough. Wish I could be as confident as your other followers seem to be, he noticed. Almost everyone here feels that way more than you'd think, he replied once. You're not alone, even when you feel like it. Keep being honest. That's where freedom starts. His words lingered longer than the noise of her notifications. A digital friendship. It didn't stay in the comments. One late night, after a particularly rough day where a client trashed her design and her latest post didn't perform, Leah sent him a private message. She almost deleted it. Instead, she pressed send. Hi, Chris. Not sure why I'm writing, but your posts help on days when I feel like I'm faking my entire life. Sometimes I think if anyone really knew me, they'd leave. Anyway, just thanks for what you share. She put her phone down, cheeks hot with embarrassment. She didn't expect a reply, but a few hours later, it buzzed. Hey, Leah, thank you for trusting me with that. A quick question. Is there anyone in your life who knows the real you? Like, really knows? If the answer is no, then I'm not surprised you feel so tired. Carrying a mask all day is exhausting. You deserve spaces where you don't have to pretend. I'm proud of you for even saying this much. Chris. Her eyes stung. They began talking more. Messages turned into longer exchanges. Exchanges turned into late-night voice notes. His voice, warm and calm, telling stories about times he'd felt like an imposter. Her voice, shaky and hesitant, sharing bits of her childhood, her art, her fears. Chris saw something in Leah she'd forgotten she had. A quiet intensity, a kindness, a sharp creative mind wrapped in a blanket of doubt. He kept reflecting it back to her. You're not broken, he said one night. You're just hiding when friendship deepens. Over months, the connection deepened. They moved from DMs to phone calls, from small talk to deep, slow conversations about forgiveness, identity, God, purpose. Leah found herself laughing more on those calls than she had in years. She doodled on scrap paper while they talked, her lines freer, less rigid. Chris never pushed her to share more than she wanted, but he always listened when she did. I wish I could see your work one day, he said once. I've got a feeling it's braver than you think. Maybe, she replied, deflecting with a joke. You might be disappointed. I won't, he said, no hesitation. That word won't lodged somewhere deep inside her. Leah realized slowly, painfully, that she was falling in love with someone who believed in a version of her she wasn't fully showing. He knew her favorite songs, her fears about aging parents, her secret desire to write a book one day. But he did not know that half the photos she posted were staged illusions, that her social life was carefully constructed, that many nights after their calls ended, she curled up and cried because she felt like a fraud. Then came the message that made everything crash at once. Leah, I have a surprise. I booked a flight. I'll be in your city next weekend. I can't wait to finally meet you in person. Her heart slammed against her ribs. This was what she had said she wanted. To be seen, to be known, to be loved. But not like this. Not with the truth still buried. Panic the days before his arrival were a blur. Leah cleaned her apartment like it could scrub away her fears. She stood in front of the mirror, staring at herself. Not the filtered version, the real one, dark circles, a soft stomach, hair that never quite did what she wanted. Her mind raced. What if he sees me and is disappointed? What if he thinks I catfished him? What if he realizes the Leah he fell for doesn't exist? She opened their message thread more than once, thumb hovering over the keyboard, ready to type. I haven't been completely honest. I've been pretending. You might not like the real me. But shame choked the words back. She thought of canceling, claiming an emergency, saying, wrong time, maybe later. Running was familiar. Hiding had always been easier than confessing. But she remembered something Chris had said in one of his videos. There comes a point where the cost of pretending becomes higher than the fear of being seen. She couldn't breathe under the weight of her own illusion anymore. Something had to break. The unveiling. The day he arrived, the sky was overcast. Leah stood in front of the cafe where they'd agreed to meet, hands shaking. Every time the door opened, she flinched. Then she saw him, not on a screen, not in a thumbnail, in real life. Face lit up, eyes searching. Leah? He called softly. She walked toward him on unsteady legs. Her smile tried to appear. Her lip trembled instead. Hi, she managed. He looked at her the way he always had, like she was someone worth paying attention to. Hey, he said, voice warm. It's really good to finally see you. The kindness in his eyes was too much. The dam broke. I have to tell you something, she blurted out, before we do anything. Before we talk more, before this becomes something it shouldn't. He frowned gently. Okay, we can sit. No, she said, shaking her head. Tears welled up, blurring his face. I've been lying. Not about everything, but enough. She told him, on the sidewalk outside that cafe, with people walking by and cars hissing past on wet roads, Leah laid down the illusion she had carried for years. She told him about the curated photos, the staged moments, the captions that sounded confident but were written through tears. She admitted that the life he'd seen online was not completely false, but not completely real either. I was so scared you wouldn't like me, she whispered, the real me, the quiet me, the insecure me, so I made you fall in love with this upgraded version. And now you're here and I feel like a fraud. She waited for anger, for disappointment, for the look that said, I knew it, you're not worth it. Chris didn't speak immediately. Instead, he stepped closer, gently touching her arm. Leah, he said softly, look at me. She did, wiping tears with the back of her hand. I didn't fall in love with your photos, he said. I fell in love with your heart. The girl who stayed on the phone while I talked through my worst days. The girl who admitted she was scared and still showed up anyway. The one who sends really corny memes at 2 a.m. to cheer me up. A laugh hiccuped out of her through the tears. You lied, he continued, because you were afraid. That's not okay, but I understand it. A lot of us learn to survive by becoming who we think people want us to be. He took a breath. The question now isn't, did you pretend? The question is, what do you want to do from here? She swallowed. I want to stop, she whispered. I want to be me, even if it scares me half to death. He nodded. Then let this be the last day you choose the mask over your own face, he said. Not for me. For you. He pulled her into a hug. She cried against his chest as the illusion she'd hidden behind for so long finally cracked. And underneath, something truer began to breathe, becoming real. Change didn't happen overnight, but something fundamental had shifted. Back home, Leah opened her social media apps and stared at the grids of carefully composed moments. They looked pretty, but now all she saw were cages. Her finger hovered over the delete button for a long time. Then she did something braver. She posted a real photo, no makeup, eyes still a little red from crying. Caption, "For a long time, I've been pretending to be someone I thought you'd all like. I made my life look better than it was because I didn't think the real me was enough. I'm tired. I'm done. So, hi, my name is Leah. I get anxious in groups. My apartment is messy. I overthink everything. I also make art I'm proud of and care deeply about people. If you're here for the real me, you're welcome to stay. If not, I finally trust that I'll be okay." Her thumb trembled as she hit post. She expected silence or mockery. Instead, something surprising happened. Comments started coming in. "Same, thank you for saying this. I've been doing the exact same thing. I thought I was the only one who felt this way." Her vulnerability cracked something open, not just in her, but in others. Over the next weeks and months, Leah slowly dismantled the false persona she had built. She stopped staging every moment. She shared her art, not just the polished client projects, but the messy, emotional pieces she drew for herself. Her style changed. More color, more contrast, more her. She wrote short captions about anxiety, comparison, shame, and the small victories of choosing honesty over performance. Her following shifted. Some people drifted away, but the ones who stayed were different, real, engaged, grateful. Her page became a place where people admitted, "I'm not okay, but I'm trying." And nobody shamed them for it. From illusion to authenticity. Leah's journey wasn't about becoming perfect. It was about becoming honest. She realized her flaws didn't disqualify her from love. They made her human. Her insecurities didn't erase her talents. They gave her compassion for others who struggled. Chris remained by her side, not as a savior, but as a partner, cheering her on as she learned to stand in her own truth. One evening, months later, Leah stood in a small gallery where her work was displayed for the first time. Her paintings hung on white walls, bright, raw, imperfect, alive. At the bottom of each piece was a small tag, "Artist." Leah Carter, no fake name, no mask. A young woman stood in front of one piece, a self-portrait of Leah with her phone in one hand and a broken mask in the other. "I feel this," the woman whispered. "It's like you painted my insides." Leah smiled. "Thank you," she said. "That's exactly why I made it." Leah's story is not about someone who figured it all out. It's about someone who got tired of living as a reflection and chose to become a person again. From illusion to authenticity, from filter to face, from performance to presence. And if there's a truth buried in her journey, it's this. You are not your persona. You are not the mask you built to survive. You are not the highlights you post so you won't be forgotten. You are a whole, complicated, beautiful work in progress, worthy of love, connection, and truth exactly as you are. And the moment you dare to step out from behind the mask, you might just discover that the real you was the one people needed all along.